Yesterday, a total of 155 candidates put themselves up for the Council of State representation in the regions. The deal was that we had 522 persons who decided on this, and these were drafted, 2 persons each from every metropolitan, municipal, and district assembly. A total of 145 males out of the 155 candidates. There were 10 females only. In the final analysis, 16 would have been elected, but the Ashanti region has issues, definitely. Now, in the Greater Accra region, 13 males, 0 females. The Western region, 7 males, 2 females, making a total of 9. The Central region, 8 males and 1 woman, representing 9. The Bono region, 10 males, no female. In the Bono East region, 9 males and 2 females. In the Afro region, 8 males. The Volta region, 13 males. And the Upper West region, 11 men. That's a regional breakdown for you there of the Council of State elections that happened yesterday across the country. Now, who are these elected regional Council of State representatives? Gabriel T. Kwaba is with Kwame Atople is from the Volta region. Gabriel T. Kwaba, Kwame Atople, the youngest of all of the Council of State members. He's going to advise the president. So whether he will take or not, that's another conversation. 32. Shana Pio Pe Di Tundini Adiali Ayagi Tam, the third, for the upper East region. That's a chief. Maxwell Boachis, the Western region. Tingawura Samsing is from the Savannah region. So the chiefs are stepping in there as well. Nene Drolo Boso Adamte is of the Greater Accra region as well. He's also a royal. Piama Pim Yawa Kagrese is from the East Bono East region. Alhaji Mohammed Momoni from the Northern region, and Richard Kings Atiko is from the OT region. Chairman Michael Adu is a Western region. Tells you he's a party chairman. Yaochri is from the Hafo region. Michael Kwame Mumuni is from the Upper West region. And Hakim Adai is from the Central region. They distinguish themselves. Now, I'm sure you're wondering what their salaries, or if you like, the allowances as they are called, of the Council of State members are. The chairman of the Council of State at the end of every month takes 28,455 cedis. The chairman of the Council of State takes 28,455 cedis. These are the old figures. So if we get an emoluments team that looks at it again and says, oh, let's upgrade it further, it could be taking more than 28,455. That's for the chairman of the Council of State. The other 30 members of the Council of State take 26,266 Ghana cedis. 26,255 Ghana cedis. Now, each member, the ex gratia that they get at the end of every 4 years. So the people who have gotten themselves elected now, if the term ends, each member will get 365,000 Ghana cedis as ex gratia. There's even a plus attached to it because it could be more. Total number for 31 members, that's 11,315 Ghana cedis, 0 press West. And all of this work has been done by the 3 News Research Desk. Total estimated cost to government, that's 50.5 million Ghana cedis for the 4 years that they will be there. And we'll pay them 50.5 million Ghana cedis. Now, should we not be impressing upon them to make strong their advice? And if the president doesn't take the advice, should they not be telling us? Now, let me give you a breakdown of the 31 members who will be chopping at 50.5 million cedis. Well, it could be upgraded later, we don't know. Ex-official members, there are 3. President of the National House of Chiefs gives us 1. There are 16 regional representatives, and then there are 11 people appointed by the President of the Republic of Ghana. You are shocked, eh? I'm just giving you the details so that you know. That's the detail we give you here. So every Council of State member earns how much at the end of the month? I'm sure that's what you're looking for again. Let me give you that Council of State, those who earn, how much they earn. The chairman of the Council of State at the end of every month gets 28,455 Ghana cedis. How much be your salary? How much be your amount? The other 30 members also get 26,266 Ghana cedis. This is the Professor Ya Intiamwa Beidu emolument report from 2017 to 2021. We're in 2025. As I told you, it could be upgraded. You don't know. Are you surprised that people were fighting to get in there? Each member gets 365,000 Ghana cedis as ex-gratia when they finish. That's the old rate. The new rate hasn't come. A total of 11,305 Ghana cedis. Hey, chairman. Let's go to the Volta region. My brother Faisal is joining us on the phone line. Faisal, good morning. How are you doing? Assalam. Great. Now, what happened in the Volta region yesterday regarding the election of members of the Council of State?
So, the election of members of Council of State took place yesterday at the Ula Auditorium in Bo, where 13 candidates, 36 delegates gathered for the election. The atmosphere was a very tense one because before the polls opened,
Faisal, your line is not clean. You need to reposition yourself so we can hear you. No, you have to reposition yourself so we can hear you.
Okay.
Great.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better. Talk to me.
Great. So the election was held yesterday at the Ola Auditorium in Go, where 13 candidates, 36 delegates gathered. At the beginning of the process, even before polls were opened, the place was very tense because there were several supporters of the candidates who had gathered at the entrance, forcing their way through to the room. But the police took control of the situation and ensured that peace prevailed throughout the process. The election, after it was done, the ballots counted yesterday was 35. And out of the 35, Gabriel Tanko Atebule got 24. Felix Nate got 2. Togui Adamu Atama. Let me get that name right. I think Togui Akamu, rather. Togui Akamu got 5 votes. And then Dr. Waku also got 4 votes, making the 35 valid votes. 1 rejected ballot. When the declaration was made, the winner, Tanko Atebule, who spoke to us, indicated that the victory for him is a victory for young people in the Volta region. This is a young man who is 36 and making this wave at this moment. And so he mentioned that his victory yesterday was for the young people of the Volta region, who is motivated to enter into the areas of politics, places that people think are the toughest zones for young people. Think he has conquered it, and so that should be enough motivation for young people to venture into such areas. They also indicated that even though the position of Council of State is an advisory role, they will use the position. Can you hear me?
Are you alive? Let's hear you, Faisal.
I'm actually on campus, so So he indicated that even though the position is an advisory role, he will use it to lobby for the development of the Volta region, working together with the chiefs, the members of parliament, and other appointees from the region who are in government to ensure that the Volta region gets its full share of the national cake. And so the election yesterday, but for the earlier skirmishes from the supporters of the various candidates, was a very peaceful one at the Ola Auditorium in Bold, Johnny.
Now, this young person who has broken the jinx of young people getting onto the Council of State to advise the president, what exactly was his mood yesterday?
For anyone who won an election of that nature, you would expect that the person would be extremely happy. In fact, even before the declaration was made, we saw him shed tears indicating how tough it was. Because for the last week before the election yesterday, for the first time, we saw some high level of interest in the Council of State elections, which was never the case. But indeed, the Council of State elections held in the past, not many people knew about it. But for this very one, it became more of a conversation across the region. We saw high level of interest from the political parties. Yesterday, there was every indication that the young man is the choice of the ruling government, because you would see party executives all the way, regional executives, including the regional chairman, all around to support the gentleman. And so that actually heightened the interest around the election. And for that matter, the state it had across. So when he was declared winner, you would expect that he would be extremely happy. And like I indicated, he actually shed tears before the main declaration was done.
Faisal, I thank you very much indeed for your time. That's Faisal from the Volta region, a man and eyes and ears on the ground. We're grateful.
Thank you, John.
Let's go to the Savannah region now. Christopher Marco is standing by. Chris, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Johnny.
Great. How did things go in the Northern and Savannah regions?
Yes, so for that of the Northern region, early at 10 a.m., the voting has ended, and Alhaji Mohammed Muniru, former MP for the Kumbungu constituency, former Minister of State, and a former running mate, the late President John Evans Atamil, won the Council of State election for the Northern region with some 26 out of 33 votes. The Northern region is made up of 16 administrative districts, and so the rules of the game, 2 delegates from each of the assemblies, and so that rounded the number to 32, and he garnered 26 out of the 33 votes, winning overwhelmingly. And after the election, he actually spoke to the media, and his word was that he's been a minister before, he served in government, so he knows what it entails to be in government and to be able to advise the president. And so he is even saying that the role of the Council of State member should go beyond just advising the president and also influencing development. And so that is what he stands for. Now, Johnny, in the Savannah region,
right,
a traditional ruler, Singaura Samson, emerged victorious in that election. Now, the Savannah region is also made up of 7 administrative assemblies, and so there were 14 delegates in that election. Now, Singaura secured 11 of the 14 votes cast yesterday to win the election, and so he is currently the Savannah regional rep of the Council of State election. Now, he has been a district chief executive before under the Mills administration, and so he also comes on board with some level of expertise when it comes to issues of government. Johnny, if you go to the Northeast region, which is one of the regions that also conducted this election.
Right.
Now, in the Northeast region, they failed to elect their rep because the Northeast region is made up of 6 administrative assemblies, and so 12 delegates participated in the election. 7 aspirants, and out of that, 2 secured 6 votes each out of the 12 votes. Each of them, so there was a tie, and so they could not get a winner for that election. So they are to reschedule the election for another day, and that will be between the 2 candidates who secured 6 votes each.
I see. Thank you very much. We're grateful for your time, Christopher Mwako. Let's go now to the Ashanti region. Ibrahim Abubakar is standing by. Ibra, assalamu alaikum. Ibra, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Johnny.
Great. Now, how did things go? We saw people fighting in the Ashanti region. What was the backstory?
Well, so, Johnny, the election process in Ashanti region started On a very, very peaceful note, by 8 EC officials were there. Some of the delegates, the 86 delegates expecting to cast their ballot, also arrived and were able to vote before leaving. All the 12 candidates were also there. By 11:30, all the 86 had voted, and it meant that they had to do sorting and count and do the official declaration, since all of them have been able to vote. So they started with the sorting. In fact, when they were about to even begin the sorting, the police ensured that they barricaded a portion, even restricting the media to a certain level. So that level, they only had the EC officials and agents of the 12 candidates and some police officers. Then, so the barricade were into 3 phases. One that had only EC official agents and some of the police officers. Then the second one had the media there. Then the last one, which had observers also there watching what was going on. So just when they were done with the sorting and they were about to start with the counting process, then we saw some macho men, numbering about 10 or even 15, storming the area, breaking into the barricade. The police even couldn't prevent them from accessing the inner perimeter. They went there, destroyed the ballot box, some of the ballot papers, they also destroyed it. In fact, that started when one of the candidates, his agent called on the supporters to start jubilating, because, after the sorting, for those who were standing very close to the sorting area, they were able to assess the number of ballot papers each candidate has been able to amass there. So an agent of one of the candidates was signaling the supporters to jubilate, and they started jubilating. That was when the macho men stormed there, destroyed everything, disrupted the process, and ended it abruptly. So the EC officials initially even managed to take some of the ballots. They put it in another ballot box and was making their way to the conference center of the RCC with the police, hoping that they will be able to get there and at least be able to do the counting there. But the macho men cornered them, took the ballot box from them, opened it, and tore some of the ballot papers there before leaving the area. In fact, we had police officers numbering more than 50 throughout the incident. Yet these macho men were able to overpower them, largely because none of them was also armed whilst on duty there. So that was what happened. The EC officials eventually had to leave. The candidates left, and also supporters also left. So for Ashanti region, as we speak, we cannot be able to tell who won yesterday's election. So because some of the ballots were torn, there was no official counting, no official declaration. So as it stands, the Ashanti region may have to wait for another day, or we don't know whether there will be a new date or the EC will have to find a way of doing the counting and official declaration. As we speak, the regional EC director says they have lodged complaint. They send every information to headquarters, awaiting on what they will tell them to do next.
I see. Now, how do the people in the Ashanti region feel about this? Because Ashanti region is a very critical region in the play of things in the Republic of Ghana. How do they feel?
Well, people, it's been the talk of town, and clearly people are unhappy with how issues panned out, especially when these are part of the democratic process, going to the polls and trying to elect people to lead you, and having people come there, storm there, and disrupting everything. So most people are calling for law enforcers to ensure that they investigate, arrest the perpetrators, and prosecute them, because if they do that, it will serve as deterrent to others who would want to commit similar acts in the days or the months to come. Because if these go also uninvestigated and no one is arrested, it means that next time if there is an election, we can still have a group of young men disrupting the process. So clearly, people are not happy at all with what has happened. Like I said, they said, in fact, all the 16 regions voted yesterday. We know some misunderstanding even happened in Greater Accra, but eventually they were able to successfully elect whoever will be representing the region at the Council of State. But in Ashanti region, the situation is different. So people want the authorities to deal with this decisively and ensure that going forward we wouldn't have macho men or thugs coming in and disrupting such a democratic process.
I know that yesterday, while you tried to film, journalists were literally restrained from doing that. Are you able to confirm this, what we hear in the media and across the country?
Well, Alfred, in fact, in my presence, I saw the thugs beating up 3 journalists. In fact, at the end, I was told there were 5. But what I saw in my presence, 3 of them were beaten to pulp. In fact, these were journalists who had used their phone to record the activities of the attack. In fact, personally, I managed to escape from the attack. I was also using my phone at a point in time. But when I saw them approaching us, I decided to stop filming, put the phone in my pocket. Others were still filming, and the tax pounced on them, beat them up. In fact, one reporter with Angel FM yesterday, they beat him until blood started oozing on his face. When they left him, then attack another person. So, yes, I can confirm that some journalists were attacked whilst attempting to film the activities of the attacks at the Regional Coordinating Council.
Great, Ibra. I thank you very much indeed for your time. We're grateful. And that's Ibrahim Abubakar from the Ashanti region. Stanley Nibleu is in the Greater Accra region. He witnessed all the action at the AMA office. Stanley, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Johnny.
Yesterday, what happened? We saw people pushing people at the door, in the gate. What happened?
So, Johnny, before the confusion erupted, the entire process started on a peaceful note. So, as at 7 a.m., the Electoral Commission delegation or the team from Electoral Commission led by the Greater Accra Regional Director, that is Madam Gladys Pinkra, had already come to the Omanyaba Hall of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, and they've set up the place ready to conduct the election. But the election had to drag for about 5 hours because the delegates who are supposed to come in to kickstart the process were conspicuously missing. They did not show up until about 11:30 when they trickled in their numbers. So when they got in, this raised concerns from some of the aspirants because the aspirants came in and they were expecting the delegates to also come in to start the process. But they realized that some of their colleague aspirants have actually come, these delegates. They are 58 in numbers because they were selected from 29 of the districts in the Greater Accra region. So 2 from each district, making 58. So they started accusing some of their colleagues for camping and then eventually trying to induce them so that they will able to get their votes. So the aspirants approached myself from TV3 and then another colleague from Joy News to tell us. But when we told them that we didn't want to speak on camera about the inducement, then they retreated. Okay, so that was the case. So eventually when they came in and some of the delegates actually were ushered in, and then the police had actually beefed up on the premises of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, and just at the entrance of the Omanyaba Hall. Some security details were also stationed there.
Right.
And these people are working with strict directives that no other person, if you are not qualified, you are not going to be granted access into the Omanyaba auditorium where the event is taking place. So myself, at a point in time, I stepped out. But when I was coming in, I was prevented from entering.
Right.
So I had to spend about 10 minutes with the police trying to explain myself to them that I was actually in the auditorium and I tried to step out to do something and I'm now coming back before they were able to grant me access. So just as the whole process was about to start, then the opportunity was given to the aspirants. There were 13 in number, but 3 of them withdrew from the race, leaving 10 to battle for that slot. So opportunity was given to the 10 aspirants to convince the delegates as to why they should vote for them or they are the right people to occupy that slot to represent the Greater Accra region. So Ayapote Agbo, the former Greater Accra regional minister and then the regent of Bonkatamanso, was given the opportunity. He was the first person to speak, and he told the people that for him, he's seen it all. He has got the guts to tell the president what it takes to do, to speak directly to the president and then tell the president if any decision that he takes does not go in favor of the people of the region, he has the guts to confront the president to tell him the truth. And so he thinks that being a former regional minister, being a former MP, and also a regent and the people's choice, he thinks that they should give him the choice to represent the region. Then Nene Drolo also came in to tell the people what he would do for the region should they give him the nod to represent the region. The other 8 were also given similar opportunities to also tell the delegates what they would do for the region, and then the assembly members, because they claim that they have the interest of the assembly members.
Right.
Then finally, the last person who spoke for the process to start was the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Honorable Ibrahim Ahmed. So what he said was simple and straightforward. This is an election that is supposed to bring unify the Greater Accra region so that they can choose one person to represent the region. So for him, he does not see the reason why this exercise should generate into chaos. And so he told them bluntly that this exercise that is going to be held should not erupt any fight or any misunderstanding or chaos. But just after he ended his speech, then the first chaos ensued. And it was like he felt so disappointed that just as I finished speaking and I told the people that they should not fight, then this came in. And what brought about the first chaos has to do with the fact that some delegates who were left or who came to the auditorium late, and some observers who had also wanted to have access to the auditorium to come and witness the process were denied entry by the police. And so there was that confusion. And by then, the Minister for Local Government and then the Greater Accra Regional Minister, that is Madam Linda Akwele-Oklu, had come into the auditorium. And what happened to me earlier when the police tried to deny me access, Linda Akwele also, the Greater Accra Regional Minister, also stepped out of the auditorium. And at the time she was coming back into the auditorium, she found herself caught up in the confusion.
Right.
And so they also denied her entry. Then shortly after, when that calm was restored, then another one ensued. And by then, she had not been granted access into the auditorium.
Right.
So she also happened to be caught up again in the second confusion that erupted. It was a very nasty scene, if excuse my language, it was quite a nasty scene to witness, because this is a democratic process that was supposed to probably bring about unity for the people to just choose one person to represent the region, and it brought about that chaotic incident. A lot of the people were surprised.
Right.
So eventually, the police had to call for reinforcements into the auditorium, and then they were able to restore calm for the process to go on.
I see.
So
Stanley, thank you
now-
very much indeed for your time. We're grateful that you could join us here this morning. It's 12 minutes after 9 on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. From Stanley Blewu in Accra, we go to Anthony Nukpenu. He's the regional organizer for the Greater Accra region of the NDC. Anthony, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
I'm greater than Accra. This narrative that Stanley has given us, is that what really transpired?
Hurricane. Did you say hurricane?
I said this narrative that Stanley has given us, was that really what transpired? People were prevented from entering the hall. Is that what really transpired?
Okay. Good morning to your cherished listeners. Well, yesterday was a convergence of delegates to elect a member of Council of State to represent Greater Accra. And the delegates are 58 from the 29 assemblies. That's 2 representatives from each assembly. Now, aside that, the aspirants will also come with 1 or 2 support bees and their agents, electoral commission. And then as a political party, we also have officials, be it regional executives and other members of parliament and other senior members of the party coming to witness. Some chiefs and traditional priests and priestesses will also come and witness, because it's about Greater Accra. So the venue chosen was the Accra Metro Hall, which is big enough to take not less than, I think, 600 people. So as at the time we got there were several party faithfuls around, and the police have cordoned the place to prevent them from also witnessing whatever. So I had a police tell them that this is not a police election. It's a public election. And preventing people would rather breed tension. I left. We had some issues to resolve before the election. So we went into some other room to have that discussion. So on our way to the room, myself, the local government minister, the regional minister, and other officials, we saw there was a lot of scaffold because others have come and they wanted to enter, but the police are preventing. So there was a struggle between them and the police. We tried to restore calm, but it was tensions. Now, because the entrance is where the tension was happening, we need to get into the hall. So one of the police senior officers advised that let's use the exit part of the the room, the hall, to access our entry. So we got there, the police somewhere there, we spoke to them, and they allowed us into the first chamber.
Right.
So into the main hall, a gentleman was standing behind and closed it. So we knocked and told him that we wanted to access here. And he was trying to be very evasive. So I held the door and I pushed it and asked him that, look, gentlemen, why are you preventing? There are police officers here. Who are you? Are you a CID or who are you? What is your officialdom that you are standing here and you are trying to create a scene? But this is the situation. I am entering here with the regional minister and the local government minister. I told him, look, I won't take words from you. I don't know you. I've not assigned you any duty here. So I entered with some other guys, and then the minister was behind. Then this guy went again along the door. I said, I told you that the minister is coming, so why are you locking the door? That he will not allow anybody to access through that place, that this is an exit. So at that point, I was left with no choice than to force him and show him off that place. Because I don't know which power he has to come and determine who uses where. And I think that was where the media peaked and was circulating as if I was fighting somebody.
But we saw you, Anthony. We saw you. You literally were asking the guy questions and literally you pushed him off.
Yes,
I saw Gideon Hammond
to
right.
To go back because I don't know what capacity he has to come and determine who uses where.
But
if for nothing at all, the police were standing there. They should man the gate.
Right.
And when we speak to them, they will understand the reasoning. For someone who is of no capacity and officialdom will come and be determining an election that is under the supervision of the electoral committee, the police, and the political party in power. Who is that man? Who is that gentleman? I don't sit for such people to come and arrogate powers over me.
So your reaction was basically because he couldn't explain himself to you as to what his locus was?
Of course, and I explained to him why we are using that point. So for him to try and tell me that I'm nobody and the minister coming here cannot use there, but he must go and use the entrance, I think that is enough of that attitude, and I will respond to him.
Now, yesterday, did this mar the beauty of the whole event?
Never. The election went on peacefully. Everybody had his own way of determining whoever should be the winner for the day. That thing never affected the safety and the peaceful environment for the election.
Right.
It was a one-off event, and he himself, at a point, has to go and sit somewhere and be calm. Because sometimes when people want to misbehave, not position them well, they will think they are somebody. I think what he himself saw, he knew that he couldn't have gone that way. Because if, for nothing at all, we are party officials in the region.
Right.
We will not go and distract a process that largely depends on us. So for somebody to come in to try and create a scene, I don't think we should allow it to happen. And that was all we did.
You said you explained to the gentleman who was preventing you from entering that the regional minister was coming along with you. This regional minister is the head of the Security Council of the region.
Yeah.
And he still did not budge.
Yes. And I found it so strange that the police people were standing there and watching that guy. And I asked myself, these people, do they know their job here? Do the police people know their job here? Because you have to man the gate. Why are you allowing somebody who is not a police officer? At the point, I thought it's a CID. But this time I found out this is not anybody who is within the police service. So I tried to even question the police. Why are you allowing these guys to stand here and behave like this? You see? And that is how the police people behave today. Lackadaisically, uninterested in people misbehaving. And I find it so strange. I don't know what kind of police service we are running in this country.
They say you're a trouble causer. Are you?
Yes, that's the view of people. But you know me very well. Me, I don't stand in an environment that indiscipline strife. And this is my mantra. If indiscipline must restore indiscipline to discipline, I will apply it. If you are in discipline, I will come on my other angle and discipline you for discipline to be restored. Because I've seen in this country that sometimes when people are misbehaving, you are looking on, they think you are a coward. And you also apply your other side, then the person will know that he or she has met his meter. So you all restore calmness. Because if you have continued doing that, you would have created more chaos at that point, and it would have affected the election. But when we tried to position him, he went and sat down, and the room became calm, and the election went on.
I see. So you were the restorer of discipline yesterday?
Partly.
I see. Anthony, we thank you very much indeed for your time. But you have a new representative of the region, Nene Drolo, going on to the Council of State. What are your views?
Oh, my views are that we have a 4-year social contract with the people of this country under the leadership of John Dramani Mahama. We need men and women with integrity, professionalism, high standards of discipline to be able to meet the expectations of the people. What are the expectations of the people? Getting a safe and sound environment for businesses to strive, jobs to be created, roads to be improved, security improvement, livelihood empowerment. These are the things that people are looking up to. So he needs men and women to be able to advance on this course and give relief to the people. And this is Greater Accra. Greater Accra is the capital. So many challenges confront the region. And as we embarked on the campaign, there were many things that came before us to do. Should God give us the mandate? So he's on board. All we expect for him to also come with whatever he has for us to be able to make sure the expectations of the people in the Greater Accra region are met largely, so that we can have a very nurtured government that can inure to another victory in 2028. So we welcome him. It's about collaboration. I say it's not about a position. It is a responsibility. Anybody that will be given responsibility and he or she will think it is about post, I'll sit down, just enjoy it without making progressive and productive contribution to the forward looking of the government and the people. For that one, we will not sit down and look at it. We are on board to make sure we restore sanity, dignity, and empower the people of the Greater Accra region.
Anthony Nukpenu, a Greater Accra Regional Organizer of the NDC, thank you so much indeed for your time. Somebody just sent a message and just I was thanking you and asking you what do you think about the latest appointment that have been made by the president. What do you think?
Which of them?
Are you getting a fair share as a region? You worked so hard. You prophesied that you were going to get all those seats out of the number of seats that were in the Greater Accra region, 34. You got what you said you were going to get. Now, the question from the Greater Accra region is, are you getting your fair share of the cake?
Fair share, it is early days to make a conclusion whether you are getting the fair share, because with my assessment so far, the president has made only about 22% of the appointments that will be made.
Right.
There are several appointments that will come on board. So it is how we position personalities to be able to also take some positions to contribute to the growth of the Greater Accra region. So for what we have so far, it's subjective to whether it fairly represents you for now or not. But I believe that it is not the number of people you get that determine your way forward, but the quality and reasonability of the people to make sure that whatever you have, you harness it well for the growth of your region. So I'm confident that what we have will add more, and collectively when we sit by the table, we can discuss the issues passionately and contribute what matters to the growth of the people in the region.
Thank you very much, Anthony Nupeno, for spending your breakfast with us. We are grateful.
I'm grateful to you too and your team.
Thank you very much. That's the whole point. We brought you a wrap on the Council of State elections. Kuzo, bring me back that figure. You're wondering how much a member of the Council of State earns at the end of the month. The chairman, you didn't know. I'll tell you. You know I like you. I'll tell you. How much does a member of the Council of State earn at the end of the month? I'm sure you want to know. You are itching to hear. I'll tell you. Why won't I tell you? You are my friend. We're not friends anymore. We are friends. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. I will tell you. There's a matter of a simple conversation. I know. At the end of their term, ex-gratia that will be taken by every member of the Council of State, according to Professor Dore Dubondo report, which was to be implemented in 2021. Now in 2025, a new administration has come, so things will go up small. Back then, they took 365,000 Ghana cedis. A total of 31 members, ex-gratia, they earned 11,315. You know that the former IGP, former CDS, former Chief Justice, they all retire on their salaries, right? It means that they take everything. So you and I, when we retire, our salaries will be cut. But they take everything with all the benefits. Then they will still go and get this one as ex-gratia. Now, every single month. chairman of the Council of State gets 28,455 Ghana cedis. Then the other members get 26,266 Ghana cedis. See why they were fighting. You don't understand still. I'll be there. If you don't understand, be there. If you know, you go explain tire. Council of State. As of that time, 50.5 million Ghana cedis. This is what we spent on them. Estimated cost to the government. How much is money? Come on, is it the ballers in town? To be congregated and put together to advise the president, and he decides whether he wants the advice or not. And you still be paid for unsolicited advice. Charlie, what kind of easy job is that? Who all go and do something? My guy. Now you know. I didn't ask you to get angry. I'm just supplying information to you. Process it first before you get angry. I don't want you to be angry. The ballers are in town.
The best in the morning is on 92.7 Sunrise on 3 FM. Ballin'. Premium or nothing. Now you know.